You're in luck. Today we're going over the amazing Mantis wing, but we're going over the V2, the latest version with the man himself. Let's do this. Hello all you wonderful people, we love you, thank you for tuning in. We got a special one today. We got the man, the myth, the legend, my dear friend Jon. This is two washed up professionals right here, sitting right here. Is that a good intro?
Yeah, that's perfect. Accurate.
Okay, so today we're going in depth on the new V2 Mantis wing from Cabrinha, which Jon spent a lot of time on. So we're gonna break it down, we're gonna give you as much feedback as we can. So hopefully it helps you in your purchasing of wings in the future and what you like and what you don't like. Let's get to it. So, Jon, what are some of the biggest changes you would say that you've noticed with the new version 2 on the Mantis?
We have a really great team, and so they gave a lot of feedback to our designers, our product managers. This year we had a lot of success with the version 1 Mantis, so there was a lot to live up to. We didn't want to change too much. We really just wanted to improve in the areas that maybe weren't ideal. Yeah. So the changes were small, but those small changes ended up making a big difference, in my opinion, at the end of the day. So the first thing you'll notice is the sizes. We went from having a 2, a 2.5, a 3.1, a 4, 5, 6, 2, now to a 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.55, 6, and 7. So there's a lot more sizes. Basically every half size up to a 5 meter, and then 5 meter bigger every single digit integer, 5, 6, 7. So a lot more to choose from, especially in the smaller sizes. As far as the actual differences with the product, so a couple major things to point out. Across all of the wings, we've got EVA little foam battens now, so instead of a hard batten, you've got these little soft foam battens which do a lot of things. One, they help with a little bit of fluttering. They also provide a little bit of additional support in the trailing edge of the wing, which is going to get worn out quickly. So that's a big improvement. You'll notice if you compare the last year's to the current one, you'll get significantly less flutter, and you don't have all the downsides of a hard batten when you're packing it up or
so folding up the wing, it's all the same as anything else. No, and the flutter, in your opinion, has just improved significantly?
There's just zero flutter now,
awesome.
So it's a big improvement in that regard. And yeah, I think the best thing to do is just feel the EVA foam batten when you get a chance. It's very thin. It's not really...
It's obviously light.
It's super light. It doesn't weigh anything. That's another improvement over a hard batten, is you don't need as much enforcement.
Do you have windows, non-windows?
Yeah, still Windows and non-Windows version, depending on your preferences. I think the Windows are just a better all-around thing, but if you really want to go and save that extra couple grams of weight, very small weight savings, but if you really want the ultimate lightweight wing, the no windows are obviously a great option.
Did I see some cool bag that
we have the coolest bag. Actually, the only disappointing part about the bag is now you can't ever use an old bag again, because the new bag is just so much better. You can fit a couple wings in there. It's a great duffel. You'll have to check it out, but yeah, it's really open, really easy to put that wing into. You can put a couple wings in there, roll it up, pack it up. It's awesome. Actually, I use it all the time to just go to the beach with. I shove towels and other things in there
awesome.
As well. I don't know why we didn't make it sooner.
Okay, sorry, I got off the track.
Yeah, that's okay.
EVAs, we got the battens, eliminated the flutter.
Yep.
Any other design changes, any shape, anything that you've noticed?
Yeah, so depending on which size, so the EVA is across the whole range. The handles have been slightly improved, a little bit stiffer, but we've kept the same relative length handle. Everyone seems to really love the handle, so we didn't want to change them. Just a little bit tighter of a weave, a little bit more reinforced, a little stiffer, but generally you won't notice a huge difference between the two, except it's a little bit cleaner now. So those two things are across the entire range. Now, depending on what size you get, we have some differences. The smaller sizes, our designer Brody and our product manager Lars have put a lot of effort into making sure those smaller sizes perform just as good as the bigger ones. So they've added a little bit more depth in the canopy. Most sizes have a little bit more trailing edge hook. So you're going to have a little bit more shaping in the canopy, a little bit more camber, a little bit more depth.
And what does that do in performance for the consumer?
Well, depending on the wing. So in the smaller wings, they were a little flat, and providing a little bit more depth actually helps with the stability.
Gives more solid pull versus it jumping around.
Exactly. It really wants to sit very, very well balanced. It sat very balanced before too, but I think the smaller sizes, it was starting to get a little bit further away. Once you get smaller than a 4 in the older one, it would get a little twitchier. Now all the sizes really feel the same. I've ridden all the way down to the 2.5, and I can say it's really stable for a 2.5, so that's
Very
really
good.
nice. The additional trailing edge hook does a couple things. It helps with the flutter. Provides a little bit more depth when you pump the wing. Actually, Gwen noticed the other day, you could feel it kind of grabs the wind a little bit better. It doesn't let off so much wind. It doesn't require you to pump the wing quite as hard, but you don't have to overthink that. Just pump the wing to the recommended pressure. A lot of people try to play with the pressure. We've thought about those pressures a lot, and I really recommend making sure you have a good pump gauge and pump it exactly to the recommended pressure.
What about your sunglasses? They look pretty good.
You like these? These are Tajima Direct. They showed up at the house. Boom, done. You don't need to change out the frames, you just change out the lenses. These are like Kevlar of clothing. They're the best lenses in the industry. They're the only lenses I would pick, and I didn't have to throw away my glasses.
That's it. It's so super easy. You go tajimadirect.com, pick your frame. If they don't have your frame on file, you just send your sunglasses. They cut lenses to your frame, and now you can keep your favorite sunglasses and have the best lens on it. You can pick the color. If you have prescription, no problem, they can do that. So super easy. It's delivered right to your door, and you are ready to go in the water with brand new sunglasses, same frame.
Gotta do it. They maybe even cut your front windshield. You never know. Try it. Reach out to tajimadirect.com.
Send your wing, they replace your clear window with
tajimadirect.com, totally the way to go for all window replacements. A lot of people, you guys make the X3, which is another version of the wings. A lot of people are like, well, the Mantis is just wave riding, I'm not a wave rider. But I would beg to say that I actually think the Mantis is great for a beginner just as much as an X3. And I'm not saying, they have their differences, but sometimes people stereotype just because it's maybe the Mantis is really nice in the waves. But what's your take on that?
I think the number one thing is we are fortunate enough to have a great network of dealers, sales reps, schools. Take advantage of this. Go try them, because even though we design things for specific purposes, depending on your style and your conditions you ride in, you might prefer something else. So the best thing to do, the one thing you want to default to, is just trying both. If you really don't have the opportunity to, if I was going to say there's a difference between the two, with the best thing about the X3 is visibility. You have the most visibility of any wing on the market, in my opinion. Not only do you have two giant windows, but you have an opening in between the two center struts, which is, I believe we're the only company to do that, and so you can see through that opening through the window, so you have a crazy amount of visibility. So if visibility is your priority, I always say just go to the X3, because it's really, the pros and cons of the wings are minute, but that one thing is definitely that. If you need visibility, that is a must-have feature for the X3. Beyond that, I think the X3 is a little bit more balanced in between the hands and doesn't require as much skilled pumping. But if you are a little more experienced and you can pump a little bit better, I think you can potentially get more out of the Mantis 1 and 2 than the X3. So,
and then on the bigger sizes, V2 versus V1 on the Mantis, any big changes or improvements there?
I think the fluttering is obviously a big improvement.
Yep.
Overall, the wingspan of the bigger sizes has gotten a little bit narrower. So if you compare our 7 meter to the 6'2",
so we're not as long, not as high aspect.
Exactly. So you're not going to touch the wingtips on the water quite as much. That was an advantage of the X3. So we've decided to pull in the wingtips just a little bit, make them a little more boxy.
And those are on what sizes did they kind of change that on? Is it more on the 6 and 7?
Yeah, you'll notice it mostly on the big sizes, the 6 and the 7 meter.
Gotcha.
The 5 and down, you probably won't notice a major difference there.
Gotcha. And as far as like the riding waves, is there any more dihedral? I mean, is there anything that's changed in the actual shape of the wing?
Certain sizes have a little bit more dihedral, but you probably won't notice a huge difference there.
And dihedral for a customer who's new to the sport, what is that going to benefit for him?
Depending on the other design aspects of the wing, dihedral can help with balance of the wing, stability of the wing, speed. It can added dihedral can let the trailing edge
And that could be if you're
release.
just riding, it just sits easier behind you.
Yeah, and that always, you can have a more dihedral wing that doesn't do that as well, but it depends on the other attributes. That's more of a, it's more complicated, and it's a good question actually for a designer to go through those changes. But in my mind, Our added dihedral will help a little bit keep the wingtips off the water and help it be a little bit more stable. Not that it was unstable in any way, but it's improved in that as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there anything that's like your favorite size, favorite one? Is there one that is like, that is my go-to, this is the home run, this is mine?
Yeah, no, that's tough.
For a washed up professional?
Yeah, for me, I think the 5 meter, because it's the most powerful 5 I've ever used.
Okay.
I almost don't really need anything bigger,
yeah.
But I still will take that into a lot of wind and have a good time with it. If I had to jump on a plane and go somewhere, I would just grab the 5 and not really think about it too much.
And it's funny that Jon says this right here. I'm just going to tap on this because I think it's really important. I just was on the phone with Gwen, who's behind the camera right now, but we're just going to go roll with this. He was riding a 5.2 code from Cabrinha, and he actually downsized yesterday when people were on 5s and 6s. He even went down to a 4 because he could ride the bigger board and a really tiny wing and do a lot of tricks with. So just know these are some options for you guys out there. But saying that, as we round up this breakdown on the Mantis V2, look up Cabrinha dealers near you, local. Try to find one, try to try one, go talk to some people. But Jon is incredibly educated. He's behind the brand. He's been on the gear a ton. So his info is super valuable because he's very knowledgeable on it. He knows what the changes are. On that note, do you have anything to share to these wonderful wing foilers out there in a motivational? Do you ever swim in? Do you ever struggle?
You know,
washed up professional.
I'm starting to think about using more board leashes, put it that way. Maybe that's a story for another time.
John was the only guy that would decide not to wear leashes, and I loved it when he'd lose his board because I always had the leashes, and then I tried to steer away from it, and I too have chased after my board. So it's a good thing to have board leashes. We'll have to do a video on that one day as well. But on that note, thank you so much, Jon, for sharing your insight. This is incredibly valuable insight. And we'll have links below so you guys can take a look at them and where to get them and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys so much. We love you. Just fire away your messages. We want to make more videos to help you with your progression in wing foiling and also give you guys great information on new gear and the latest and greatest. So make sure to check out the Mantis V2. Contact your local dealer, Cabrinha dealer. And on that note, Gwen is leaving the camera right now and he's going winging, so hopefully this he hits stop one of these days. But Jon, thank you so much.
Hey, bye.
So first thing I noticed, first tack is just how direct feeling, how stiff the entire thing is. You know, really stiff handles, stiff leading edge. So it does feel really good when you pump it, and it has like, you really like, feels like so, yeah, like so direct. That's exactly how it feels. The wing is super stable, definitely perfect for riding waves. Feels light. Feels really nice on the tack. Yeah.